Welcome to Talk Commerce, the podcast diving into the world of online business, marketing, and everything e-commerce. We're here to help you grow and thrive in the digital landscape. Don't forget to leave a rating and a review. Your feedback helps us to reach more listeners. And now, a word from our sponsors. Hey there, Talk Commerce listeners. It's Brent Peterson, and I have something exciting to share with you today. Are you a developer drowning in complex cloud deployments? Well, I've discovered a game changer that's about to make your life a whole lot easier. Say hello to Cloudzilla. Now, I know what you're thinking, another cloud platform. But trust me, Cloudzilla isn't just another player in the game, it's a whole new ballpark. We're talking super cloud territory here, folks. Let me break it down for you. Imagine deploying across AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud with just one click. Picture automated CI/CD that's so smooth, it feels like cheating. All of this wrapped up in an interface so intuitive, you'll wonder if it's reading your mind. Now, I've seen a lot of tools come and go, but Cloudzilla, it's real. And let me tell you, I've been using it for more than a month now, and I love it. David and Goliath, that's old news. This is you versus the entire tech giant army. And you're winning. Here's what I want you to do right now. Head over to cloudzilla.ai and sign up for a free trial. I promise you it'll be the best decision you make this week. You won't even have to put a credit card in. Cloudzilla, because in the cloud, it's not just the size of the team in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the team. Try it today. Welcome to this episode of Talk Commerce. Today I have Van Tucker. He is the Vice President of Technology Partnerships. Van, go ahead, do an introduction for yourself, much better than I just did. Tell us your day-to-day role and one of your passions in life.
Excited. Well, thanks for having me on here today. I'm Van Tucker, a VP of Technical Partnerships, a role that kind of changes whatever we have going on at the time. So on the hardware side, so we are a division of Luxor One, which we are a smart locker manufacturer, and we have a new division called Harbor Lockers, which is like an internal startup that we've been growing for the last couple of years here. And what we do is my day-to-day is I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startups, and a lot of organizations on developing new innovative locker solutions, and what we'll be talking about more today on this conversation.
That's awesome. And I know in our green room we talked a little bit about camping. Do you have other passions, or is camping one of your big passions?
Well, just recently got an RV this year, so camping is one of the top passions for this year. And then also cycling, go mountain biking, and family. Just recently had a baby about a month ago, so I have 2 kids now. So that keeps me busy as well. So anything around outdoors and fun when I'm off the computer and off the technologies, usually you find me doing.
That's awesome. Good. Yeah. I have a dream of driving around the Western United States in an RV someday, and who knows if it's going to happen, but it's on our bucket list, so I guess that's one step.
Yeah, put it on the vision board.
All right, Van. So I know that you volunteered to be on the Free Joke Project. I'm just going to tell you a joke, and all you have to do is say, should this joke be free, or do you think we should put it behind a paywall? And they are really good, so I have a really good one for you today. Here we go. I just saw a real idiot at the gym. He put his water bottle in the Pringles holder on his treadmill.
Okay. Don't know. I think that one should not be behind the paywall.
All right.
Free joke.
They're all sort of thinking jokes and maybe not guaranteed to be funny.
Yeah, that's a thinking joke.
Put some thought into it. Yeah. All right. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit about the locker network. Tell us what that means.
Yeah, so we're building a public locker network. You might have seen lockers around the United States, Amazon lockers. You get an order on Amazon, say if you want it delivered to a nearby point where you want it delivered to your house, maybe because you're traveling or you have an issue with porch piracy, but it's typically only exclusive to Amazon. So what we've been doing is we've been developing a open locker network that goes around cities in a very open model where multiple companies can use them for deliveries. But in addition, it's a locker network, meaning it's not just for commerce. Today we're on Talk Commerce podcast, but there's a lot of other use cases you can use these lockers for as well, for returns, storing supplies in bags. So that's what we've developed, a what we call a locker that we can use for a lot of different use cases. And what we call it is what it is a marketplace locker. So we deploy them around cities, and for no charge to the companies you use up front, and they just pay a hardware as a service fee. So every time they use one of those locker compartments, we charge a little usage fee when they have a usage for their customer. So that's what it is, and we have about 30 different companies we're working with currently on building out different solutions on top of the network.
And so how does this, I mean, I guess I can see how it competes against the Amazon locker. How does it differentiate itself, I suppose? Well, anyways, I'll let you answer the question. I've already thought of the answer in my head, but go ahead.
Yes, the way it makes it different, the biggest difference is, this is a open locker, where Amazon's locker is exclusively locked up to Amazon. They're dedicated for, if you buy something on Amazon's marketplace, where these other lockers, can be used for, Amazon could use them, but in addition, it could be any other carrier, brand, merchant, retailer can use these lockers on demand. So that's the big difference, that, it's really empowering all the other individuals and companies to offer a locker-based experience without doing a huge locker investment to deploy lockers around cities.
And so tell us sort of your network and how big you've gotten so far.
Yeah, so we're part of a company called Luxor One. So we're one of the leading locker manufacturer networks in the United States. That's within our private locker network, you can say. So we have over 10,000 locker locations in the United States at multifamily apartments. You might have heard of us, Luxor One. If you had an apartment, there's a chance it was a locker solution. That's us. In addition, we have retail locations like the Home Depot lockers, which you can buy online, pick up in store. This new marketplace locker, what about 150 lockers deployed currently, in May of 2024 during this recording. But we're getting ready to have over 25 harbor-enabled locations deployed over the next 2 years. So it's a big, busy 2 years coming up to get that many lockers deployed, from 150 to 25,000. But a lot of that's also a lot of stuff behind the scenes, how we can really scale it out quickly as well.
To tell us about some of the partnerships you're building.
Yeah, so some of the partners that we're building, we initially been working with a lot of hyper-local startups to provide, really empower the small SMB businesses within cities, because that's where a lot of business happens. It's the small retailers, small mom and pop stores that have very limited hours, or maybe just have one person working at a store, and maybe they don't even have a storefront. So we work with a company called Relay, which offers marketplace solutions, which enables merchants to use these as brick and mortar storefronts through the lockers. In addition, we have Drop Blocker, which is a bag storage app. This is a company which we built internally initially as this kind of a use case of, hey, how we can use the lockers, but now that you spun off into its own business unit, which does bag storage at event venues. So say you go into a music concert, they have a clear bag policy. It's like, hey, Brent, you drove in there on an Uber to the concert. You have your bag that you're not supposed to take. Instead of like going back in your Uber or throwing it in the trash can, you can actually store it in our lockers there. So we have that at currently about 10 venues around the United States. So there's a lot of different use cases that we've been doing. And we recently got a new Shopify app enabled through another partner, which lets Shopify app stores become enabled, as well as a leverage our public lockers as a delivery and pickup location as well.
Yeah, and I know that some of the artists. Speaking of, I went to a Jack White concert, and they make you turn in everything. You can't even bring your phone in. They have you put your phone in a little bag and give it to somebody, then they give it back to you. So I would imagine this would give them more flexibility, so you could not be concerned about getting maybe losing it as just giving it to somebody at the entrance. What other solutions? I can think of one solution that, at airports, especially where you may have a long layover in some of the hub cities that you might want to get out and see the city, but you need to put your bag somewhere. What sort of solutions do you envision in the future for some of these?
That's where we do see a great opportunity is airports. Get them deployed into airports is a little more difficult, especially with the TSA. So before 9/11, there was lockers at airports. A lot of things have changed a lot when it comes to lockers and storing things at airports in the United States. So that's something we're working on. That's where we see the future is having them near airports, around cities. Say if you go to a trade show and your checkout time for a hotel is at 9 a.m., but your flight maybe not until 2 p.m. How do you go store it in a locker nearby instead of going to the hotel check desk and things like that? So that's where we see the future, and that's why us deploying more and more of those locker locations all around cities for the different use cases is key. But that's where we do see the future. At airports, we do have a partner called Autonomy, which offers a robotic uh, robot that goes around airports today, but which uses some of our locker technology to open and close the lockers for food deliveries. But that's today we don't do bag storage at any airports.
Do you see the future of food as one of the of a option for lockers, knowing that
Yeah, there's already
somebody's gonna have to
yeah.
make sure they
So
get it out of the locker?
we don't offer. We just have ambient controlled lockers, which are not refrigerated, heated. So this made to be put in a very fast pickup. If I'm like maybe like a quick serve restaurant and things like that to pick it up quick. So we do see there's partners that we work with that have lockers that use our technology because all of our lockers are controlled via a mobile app to open and close the locker. So we have partners, other manufacturers we work with actually have harbor enabled lockers which open and close the lockers for those use cases. We see that today, and that's where we are seeing, like, with our partners, how do we get more and more different locker use cases for food, because food and asynchronously handing off, especially in like dorms and office buildings, having that DoorDash person go all the way up to you, or maybe you'd be recording this podcast where I don't want my food delivered to me right now, but let's put it at the locker around the corner for a few minutes. I get off and go grab it for lunch. So that's where we see them having them very short period of time of storage in these lockers for food, not any long-term storage today.
How about some of this does go back to like contactless customer service and making sure that everybody's safe. How does that play into it?
Yeah, that's all kind of the premise came from, especially during COVID, everything, that's what really accelerated contactless and asynchronous deliveries, and more people being more comfortable not even not going having things delivered to their door, or even going to buying things online. Has been a huge boom for it. So we do see, that's where the lockers are secured, especially in like a Facebook marketplace setting where maybe you want to sell something, but you really don't feel comfortable going meet up the person face to face. Well, we have apps in our marketplace which you can sell something on Facebook, and you can asynchronously drop the item off in the locker. The person can go buy it up, and you never see them face to face, and that makes it more secure because you can do it anytime, and you not have to have those issues where you may go face to face in a scenario. And the lockers are, they are lockers, so they're not a safe. So they're not. We don't want you to go put your very expensive items being sold in these lockers, but they are. We've done tons of testing to make sure they're secured for crowbars and being broken into. But that's where we kind of see we put them in great locations with good lighting in a safe area. In addition, the asynchronous part really makes them more secure.
I think for some of the older listeners, they may envision a locker like at a bus station where you get a key, a physical key, and you have to take it with you, and then you put the key back in. This is much more user friendly, and also I would imagine friendlier for the locker company because it's all controlled by an app, and I'm assuming it's Bluetooth enabled, so you just bring your phone near it and it pops it open. Or tell us how some of the tech background on the technology.
Yeah, because a lot of lockers have a kiosk screen or something like that, and those cause a lot of issues when they're outdoor. They can be broken by vandalizing. So we built a headless locker. So it's built on an open API SDK that seamlessly goes into the app that you're already using. So say if you're using a DoorDash app or another delivery app, instead of you have to use another app, is fully integrated into it. So when you make the order on your mobile app, that's where most orders are now happening via mobile devices. You can get an email, click on the email, open the locker directly through. That is open via Bluetooth. So that's how we manage all of the connectivity for the customers to drop off or pick up items. And then we have an open API which lets all of our retailers and partners be able to see all of our lockers within our network. And that lets them add really rich experience, checkout pages, or any other ways they want to display the lockers into their existing user experience. So that's where we built it in a very open framework, which lets anyone really build rich experiences on top of it.
Do you see this helping out any delivery company because you kind of minimize that last mile where you put that last mile in a more of a communal location? Does that help across both delivery and reception?
Yeah, so delivery companies, delivery to locker is still in the early stages in the United States. In Europe and Asia, they are much more popular for customers desiring to have the items delivered to lockers. So for delivery companies today, there is still a lot of education around delivery to lockers. But for delivery exceptions, they're amazing. So you can actually so say if you have an item that requires a signature to be delivered, or the delivery customer, they can actually use them as an alternate pickup location. So that saves costs for the delivery company to go to that location again, and the customer's happier because they can then get it the same day versus waiting another day, or maybe going to the shipping hub to pick it up. In addition, most of the time these are shipping to commercial addresses. That does save savings to the end customer, so they can do it. And shipping companies also like it as well because they can consolidate their drop-offs. Instead of going to every single house and do a drop-off, they can do a bulk drop-off at a single location. Especially that's useful for more regulated products. So if you're doing some wine or alcohol, anything that requires a signature, you can have it delivered to the locker as well.
Tell me more about that. I would imagine it would be much more difficult with wine because you need to get somebody that's old enough to pick it up. Tell us a little bit about how that streamlines that process.
Yeah, so we're just in the locker business. So we provide the locker access control and the solutions, then partners build their solutions on top of it. Fortunately, there's been a lot of improvements in technology. So when you can integrate into your mobile app with another partner, when you're standing at the locker, you can do a real-time verification of ID in the person there via another API. So very similar to when you go through a clear line at an airport, you can do the same idea. They can verify the person's actually the person picking it up via the camera on their phone. Once they verify the ID, the door would pop open very nice and asynchronously, all driven by technology
That's
as well.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's pretty
so
sweet.
tell us, talk a little bit about how this brings sustainability into the market.
Yeah, sustainability, is still a big component, especially for a lot of companies that have green mandates in other cities that are doing mandating delivery companies. That's one of the big things as the rise of e-commerce has also raised the demand of more and more deliveries going to cities to deliver one package at a time. So, before you go down to Walmart or go to the store and pick up an item all in bulk, now Amazon's kind of made the lifestyle where you just click it throughout the day. Next thing you know, you have a pile of boxes appearing at your house with a lot of different deliveries. So a lot of cities are actually mandating and working on plans to force delivery companies to consolidate deliveries. In addition, not go in different operating hours. In New York, there's currently a pilot with lockers where they can actually making PUDO points around the city to deliver. In addition, to cut down in carbon footprint is these lockers. You see it in Europe is, like I mentioned before, the carrier companies reducing the amount of single stops and going to a point. And that's where you get really big improvements when it comes to the green initiatives is cutting down the amount of miles a delivered truck goes and that stop and going to each house.
Earlier, I think you mentioned Autobot. Tell us a little bit about that technology and how it works in conjunction with Harbor.
Yeah, so Autonomy is a separate company we work with as a partner of ours. We do a lot of partners. We're a partnership-driven organization, and Autonomy is a self-driving robot. We had them at CES earlier this year with us, and what we've done with that partnership is Autonomy, the Autobot, is almost like a locker on wheels. So it's a much bigger robot base, which is a module where you can do a lot of different things on that robot. So what we developed is an integration which enables to have different lockers on that robot, very similar to deliveries. A lot of robots today is only one delivery per route. their robot is large enough and has different departments, so it can be driving throughout the city and have multiple drop-offs or different customers, because each locker compartment can be accessed by different customers. And it's all using the Harbor technology to open and close that locker for the same mobile app that opens one of our public marketplace lockers at a physical static location. With autonomy Autobot locker, it'd be a location that moves around, and you can pick it up through the same technology as well. And today that's been mostly used in product sampling is a great use case. If you go into a festival and you want to try out a product, you can open it up, you can download an app and get within the festival app and get samples and try things out. And same thing with food and all these other use cases.
Yeah, so I suppose you could think of it as the old-fashioned sandwich machine. You could drive around an expo or a concert and give people the option of picking some food out based on whatever they're buying from their app, right? I mean, if you want to extrapolate that out.
Exactly, yeah.
What are you most excited about this year now coming up in terms of the technology and the breadth of where you're going in terms of expansion?
Well, one thing I'm really excited about, we have this open API and SDK to integrate Harbor and get started, but it's a very development-centric platform to get started. You have to integrate the API and SDK, so I'm super excited. We just recently launched a new partner app on our solution called Harbor Pilot, which is an app which lets anyone start running a pilot today on Harbor. So if they were a brand or retail that wanted to say, I want to try some lockers out, but before they get their dev team and want to start integrating things, with this new app called Harbor Pilot that can even be skinned to the retailer's experience, which lets them really start within 3 minutes. They download the app, a couple of settings, and they can start offering locker-based solutions without any integrations. Same thing with that Shopify app that we just kind of released as well. So that's something I'm super excited. Now we got enough apps and solutions on our ecosystem to let people listening to this podcast that may be excited about lockers and they want to try it out. There's a high chance we have lockers in your city, and you can actually start using them today with one of the apps and that's
in terms of technology development. I would assume there's some minimum technology level that the physical lockers have to meet, or do they have to use a Harbor locker?
Yeah, today all the locations employed we own the lockers. They use all their Harbor technology within the lockers. And we do see we do work with some partners like Autonomy, which uses some of our technology in their lockers. But today all the lockers are our lockers, which are what we call Harbor enabled. But we do see a future where we as people come to us, like the food delivery lockers and things like that, how we make other lockers compatible with ours, because the more lockers the better. We see the United States is a huge market, North America and the world. How do you get more and more lockers so more and more customers have lockers near them that they can use them? So we see this as really democratizing lockers, and we try to collaborate with anyone we can.
You mentioned earlier that the U.S. kind of lags behind Europe and Asia. What is it that the Europeans are doing better than us, or is it just a cultural thing where we are really kind of working our way into it?
A few different things. In Europe, specifically in Asia, a lot of the cities are much more compact with a lot of people in the local area, so that makes it much easier to deploy lockers. Also, Amazon did not offer free shipping in those markets at first to get people used to having package delivered to their doorsteps. So it's home delivery is not as popular. It's never been as popular in Europe, where the United States has now been. It's really hard. How much more convenient you can have it do going to your doorstep. So that's where the United States kind of lags behind, is as people got so used to having the convenience, it's very difficult to go back. And where Europe also had much stronger green mandates, forcing carrier companies unable to deliver into city cores, and that's where lockers kind of really helped a lot of acceleration through regulatory and legal actions that the cities kind of forced the carrier companies.
That's awesome,
to do
Van.
as well.
We have a few minutes left still. As we close things out, I give everybody a chance to do a shameless plug about anything they'd like. What would you like to plug today?
Well, if you never used the locker before, like I was saying before, you can go to harborlockers.com/apps. You can see all the apps on our marketplace. There you can see a variety of apps. You can find one for your use case if you're doing returns or an outbound shipment. In addition to that Harbor Pilot app, you can open it up, sign up, Today, very quick and easy. You can see all the apps within, most of the apps on the marketplace have a little pins. We can see our lockers. Find a locker near you, try it out. That'd be my recommendation. Put something in it, share it with a friend. It could be if you're a retailer, this is a commerce website. You can, hey, if you got something you want, a local customer, you want instead of waiting for them to come pick it up at will call, put it in the locker. So we don't see lockers, depending on what businesses, and maybe 100% your business, but they use them 100% of the time, but they maybe just use also for those edge cases, maybe 80% of the time you do delivery, there's 20% deliveries you can do through a locker. So that's what I'd recommend today. Just go check out the website, kind of think of it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
I'll make sure I get the links in the show notes, but tell us how to get in touch with you, or tell the listeners how they can best get in touch with you.
Yep, that's why you can email me at vantucker@harborlockers.com. You can find me on LinkedIn as well, Van Tucker. In addition, you can just go to harborlockers.com. Just click the contact form and put your details in.
That's perfect, Van. It's been a great conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on the show. Thanks.
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis, LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.